Yes, we see your
Uh,
slide.
all right. Yeah. Greetings, everyone. Yeah. My name is Cornelius Chen. I'm Ugandan, and I'm actually here to present to you a project that well thought about is a hybrid forest in summary. And the hybrid forest is basically enabling forest owners to increase the carbon drawdown of their land with an all-in-one enhanced weathering service. So what is the problem that we actually identified? We saw that only about 7% of the land in the sub-Saharan Africa is covered by forests compared to the average in which is about what 31%. And Uganda has lost more than half of its forest cover over the past 30 years, with forestation rates estimated at 2.6 per year. Then we have also tried to see that enhanced weathering can sequester up to about 2 gigatons of carbon dioxide per year, which is equivalent to the entire global aviation industry emissions that could be in a particular year based on data that was available. And also the high costs normally, this is major something that's actually causing or rather impeding the process of enhanced weathering. The high cost and the logistical difficulties associated with sourcing, grinding, and transporting and distributing the particular rock that is used for enhanced weathering, which is olivine or basalt, has created barriers in terms of this implementation of the technology. But we've also seen that in East Africa, only a few pilot projects have been implemented, and their impact on greenhouse gas emissions has not been fully assessed. We move on to the problem whereby we try to identify the very many different carbon removal technologies or carbon dioxide removal technology, which you have forestry, biocare, carbon capture in terms of like air capture, then of course enhanced weathering. And we have seen that in terms of permanence, forestry is low, biocare is medium, direct air capture is also high, enhanced weathering is high, but of course its capacity is a little bit low because of the high implementation barriers, but also the cost per ton for you to be able to capture carbon dioxide is generally low when you look at enhanced weathering. So the solution is basically, since we said we're an all-in-one shop service that we want to make sure that forest owners are able to benefit from what they do. So number one, we would like to actually enhance weathering potential assessment. That is in case you get to an individual or forest owners, maybe say field or forests, and you're able to capture data based on whatever that they do have. And of course, when you have this in the registry, it enables you to actually have a connection with the logistics and operations, because with enhanced weathering, you're intending to use a part of a rock, or rather a byproduct of sometimes mining, which is either olivine or basalt, whereby you grind it and you do mix it with what? With the soil, or rather with the soil in the particular field. So you're able to both capture carbon dioxide from the trees, and also the land is able to do the capturing itself. So with the forest owner, would actually be able to earn carbon credits twice, because he would receive credits, of course, from what he captures using the trees, and also what would be quantified as he captures using what? The land. The realization basically for this and how we intend that this can be realized is, number one, we would like to test with only an acre of land. And according to data that was done on a certain project done in Scotland, it's clear that of course, if you just put land, if you just have land only with no trees, then the carbon sequestration or carbon dioxide sequestration potential is almost negligible. But at least when you have trees in a particular year, you could have about 1.3 tons of carbon dioxide captured. That's why most times it's known that there have been very many NGOs trying to provide funding to do what? To plant the trees. But of course, if you have trees plus enhanced weathering, you could capture up to about or even more than 10 tons of carbon dioxide per year. So basically, our target customer is number one, the forest owners. And here we are intending that we could begin with private forest owners owning some good percentage of the East African forest, since there have been very many agencies and NGOs trying to help people plant the trees, and of course they're able to receive carbon credits or sell these trees when, of course, they are mature and ready for use in terms of, building and so forth. Then also we want those persons that would like to have their forests managed properly for them to gain more profit. Of course, now here it's in terms of the credits, and then the initial target is also the small scale forest owners. But of course, the idea behind this is basically looking at carbon credits, because as we look at our first customer as forest owners, we also intend to have partnerships with buyers of carbon credits, and we've seen a number of things happening these days whereby lots of money has actually been put into this, and yet there is still yet a few kind of technologies that are actually helping people capture a lot of carbon for them to receive that incentive, because the incentive is what moves people around. So we've seen the likes of Microsoft, Stripe, and a number of other organizations that are trying to make sure that people are able to receive carbon credits, or rather carbon incentives, in terms of like incentivizing them to actually keep on doing programs that are in terms of capturing the carbon or carbon dioxide itself. And so this is an idea of how the prototype would look like. We see that from you wanting to get the enhanced weathering potential of an individual or farmer, you need to look at the location, maybe possibly the size of the land, the tree types, the soil type, and of course maybe some other things to keep like wildlife, because this would actually be helpful to know and maybe for monitoring and evaluation purposes. And of course, all that is just in terms of like you could be able to still know forestry, the weather data, the raw kinetics that you could apply to that particular land, because you don't just need to apply any kind of rock. You might still know that even if you're using olive vine, but at least there might be some kind of quantity, or maybe say the range that of concentration that you could apply to
Sorry, Chen, just so you know, you have 2 minutes left.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Then the logistics providers, and of course that would initially, or rather provide for you the enhanced weathering report, which would show you the credit generation potential, the credit revenue potential, then of course the implementation plan depending on, say, your size of land. Then there is a selling point here. We're trying to look at other companies selling carbon credits to forest owners, for example, forestry credits. We see NCX Spinner Earth, BioCare credits, there is Puro Earth, Carbon Future, and a number of them. But of course, with enhanced weathering, there is still no services yet being done with this. And yet forest owners have got access to, no access to these services, allowing them to generate enhanced weathering credits. Then other companies selling enhanced weathering carbon credits, we still have Aeon Corp, Rock Farm, Future Forest, Green Sand, Project Vesta, and Carbon Dioxide Zero. The timing, we are just on the edge before the industry takeoff, as seen with adjacent solutions, because like in regard to what a company like Carbon Culture is doing, like trying to convert these emissions and they can be stored, or rather in a stable format. And other things like Future Forest and Stripe are piloting fast enhanced weathering forest carbon credits now. That's of course in the Europe, but of course after adopting BioCare in the forest, the next natural step will be enhanced weathering for additional carbon credits for forest and forest profitability. The impact would be that in case this goes through, would have about 1 billion hectares of forest in East Africa, which would be able to capture about 15 tons per hectare. And that is just data that is yet to be confirmed based on our realizations that we hope to have. And of course, our vision is to support forest owners and land owners to increase carbon credit generation without complementary technologies. And this is our team. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to those interesting questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chen. We really appreciate this wonderful presentation, and certainly in talking with you, I've learned a lot about enhanced weathering that I didn't know anything about before. So thank you for bringing your knowledge to our group.